please welcome Scarlett Johansson. You've been in the industry, what, 10 years? You're 19?
Yeah, 19.
And, I mean, do you ever feel, I know, that's so young, and you've been working for 10 years. Do you feel like you've missed out on any fun?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think when your career is, when you're doing something you love so much, you know, for me, as a kid, I mean, I would have these moments where I was, you know, sitting around eating dinner with, you know, Sean Connery and, you know, having, you know, bumping elbows with, you know, Rob Reiner and that kind of thing. So it was just, you know, I guess it was fantastic and overwhelming, and always, my parents always put me in a, you know, made it a priority for me to be in a regular school and have a kind of regular neighborhood life. So,
do you feel like you grew up quickly?
I think growing up in the city, you know, I think everybody grows up, you know, really fast. You take the train when you're 11, yeah,
right,
in New York, yeah.
And that's interesting because you actually started your career on the child audition circuit. You know, place to place. And, you know, again, all I keep thinking is, sing out, Louise. Someone standing in the back screaming at you. Is it horrible? I mean, we've heard that child audition circuit is horrible.
It is scary. It's a scary place. Yeah, you know, I remember being a kid, you know, I used to kind of lie on my mom's lap, and she would stroke my hair, and, you know, sitting across from us, there was somebody going, you know, mom holding her kid's head and going, now repeat after me, say your lines like this, you know, somebody brushing their kid's hair. We were horrified, you know. I was so fortunate, but it's very scary and.
So you don't recommend it? You don't really recommend it, do you? Unless you have your mother.
Unless you have my mom, no.
Right. Do you encourage your own children? If you had a daughter 7, 8 years old and she really wanted to do what you do?
I would. I mean, I think I would encourage whatever my kids wanted to do. I would encourage them and support them and drive them around to auditions, you know. But I think there was a point when I was, you know, going out for commercial auditions when they didn't know whether they wanted me or, you know, a young Asian boy, and, you know, it was crazy.
Often confused.
Yeah, it was very confusing, and I was overwhelmed, and my mom said, that's it, we're not taking you out on commercial auditions, you just go out for the auditions you want to go out for, and, you know, and that's kind of the way we did it, so, you know, it's a give and take.
But you know, The Girl with the Pearl Earring, for art lovers, is based on probably one of the most famous paintings in the world by Vermeer,
yes.
The Girl with the Pearl Earring.
There it is.
And if you look at that, and then you look at Scarlett, there is a resemblance.
Well, they have her in that outfit, too.
Peter Weber, the director, said, you know, that he thinks you have a resemblance. He also said that you have an old soul.
Oh, that's nice.
What does it mean to you? Do you have an old soul?
I don't know. I think it's something you have to say. I think that's something you say. It's hard to make that, I don't know, it's hard to discover something like that in yourself, you know. When you feel familiar with things, or, I mean, I've always been very sensitive to all kinds of things around me. It's wonderful for him to say that because it makes me think that he must feel like he can put trust in me and that I'll be able to support him.
And you can play these mature roles that you're playing, which is wonderful.
Which is very excellent.
Especially for it, because I know this movie was shot around Luxembourg, right?
Yeah, we shot in Luxembourg.
And Lost in Translation was around Tokyo, within
Yes.
Tokyo. So which place held more interest for you, do you think?
Well, you know, I mean,
Very
Luxembourg,
different.
I mean, it's not exactly a happening spot, you know. They have a lot of castles and rolling hills.
I got you. So, interestingly enough, and I was listening to it, everyone was talking about your voice, Scarlett. That's all they talk about is the fact that you have this slow, sultry, like throwback to back in the day, you know, the women, the movie stars, the Crawfords, and the Davises, and so on.
Black Dana.
Yes,
Black Dana has a
that
voice
kind of
like that, too, yes.
You know,
She's wonderful.
and I understand you've had this voice for a long time, since you were a little girl.
Yeah, forever. Well, you know, I was young, and I would come into these auditions. When I would go into commercial auditions, I had these little blonde pigtails, and I was cute and little, and, you know, they'd say, so, times, and instead of saying, like, I think Jello's fantastic, I was like, I think Jello's fantastic. And, everybody was always, did you have a sore throat? No, I always talk like this. It actually smoothed out as I got older. Believe it or not, this is a smoothed out version.
Right. It's good for you. Kathleen Turner made a lot of money on that.
That's right.